In 1590, a man returned to an island off the coast of America, expecting to reunite with his family. But when he arrived, something felt wrong. There were no voices, no movement, no signs of life. The entire settlement, over 100 people, had vanished. No bodies, no signs of a struggle, just empty buildings, and a single word carved into a wooden post: Croatoan. To this day, no one knows what happened to the men, women, and children of the Roanoke colony, because they didn't just disappear, it's like they were erased. In 1587, England was in a race. Other European powers, especially Spain, were already expanding into the New World. England wanted a permanent foothold. Roanoke Island was chosen because it seemed strategic. Close enough to the mainland, surrounded by water for protection, and already explored in earlier expeditions. But those earlier expeditions had failed. Some settlers had already disappeared once before, and tensions with local Native American groups were already there. Still, England tried again. This time they didn't send soldiers, they sent families. Men, women, and children. People meant to stay. Leading them was John White, and among them, his daughter, Eleanor Dare. Shortly after arriving, she gave birth to a baby girl, Virginia Dare. It should have been the start of something permanent. Instead, it became the beginning of a mystery. Life in the colony was difficult from the beginning. They weren't prepared for the environment. Food sources were unreliable. Farming was unfamiliar, and the land didn't behave the way they expected. At times, they depended on trade with local Native American groups. But trust was fragile. There had already been violence between earlier English settlers and local tribes, so relationships were tense. Every decision mattered, and every mistake had consequences. It didn't take long before supplies began running low. The colony couldn't survive without help, so once again they made a risky decision. John White would return to England for supplies. He didn't want to leave. His family was there. His granddaughter had just been born. But without supplies, none of them would survive anyway. Before he left, they agreed on a simple system. If they moved, they would carve their destination into wood. If they were in danger, they would add a cross. It was a small plan, but it was the only way to leave a message behind. White reached England expecting to return quickly, but almost immediately, everything fell apart. England was preparing for war with Spain. The threat of the Spanish Armada was growing. Ships were being seized for military use. Travel across the Atlantic became almost impossible. White tried again and again to secure a ship, but months turned into years. 3 years passed, and during that time, no one knew what was happening back on Roanoke Island. No letters, no ships, no contact at all. The colony had been completely cut off from the world. In 1590, White finally made it back, but even before reaching the settlement, something felt wrong. There were no signs of life, no smoke rising from fires, no movement along the shoreline. Just stillness. When he reached the colony, the silence became undeniable. The settlement was empty, completely abandoned. But it didn't look like a disaster. There were no burned buildings, no signs of a fight. Instead, the structures appeared to have been carefully taken apart, as if the people had planned to leave. Then he found the message, carved clearly into a wooden post: Croatoan. Nearby, the letters Caro carved into a tree. And one detail stood out immediately. There was no cross, which could suggest they weren't under immediate threat when they left. But that didn't explain everything, because even if they left willingly, where did they go? And why was there no further trace? White believed the message pointed to a location, Croatoan Island, a nearby island inhabited by a Native American group. It was the most logical place to search. Close enough, White wanted to go there immediately, but once again, things went wrong. A storm hit the ship, conditions became dangerous, and the crew refused to continue. White had no control, despite being so close to answers. He was forced to leave. He never returned to search again, and whatever happened to the colony stayed behind. Over time, several theories have emerged. The most widely accepted idea is that the settlers relocated, possibly to Croatoan Island, possibly inland, trying to survive by integrating with local Native American communities. There is some limited evidence that later tribes may have had contact with English settlers, but nothing has ever been confirmed. Other theories are darker, that the settlers faced starvation or conflict, or simply couldn't survive in an unfamiliar land. But again, no clear proof, no confirmed remains, no definitive explanation, just fragments of possibilities. The Lost Colony of Roanoke remains one of history's most enduring mysteries. Because it wasn't just that people disappeared, it's how completely they vanished. No chaos, no clear evidence, no final message explaining what happened. Just an empty settlement, and a single word left behind. Croatoan. And whatever happened to those people, it was enough to erase them completely from history.